single dimensional array, and second one is multi-dimensional array. We can categorize arrays into two types. One is single dimensional array and the second one is multi-dimensional arrays. When it comes to single dimensional array, we already created integer array is equal to new integer of size. So this is called as single dimensional array. That means we are going to store the data just in one dimension, or we are going to store the data just as one row. For example, I want to store my data like a matrix. Rows and columns I want to store in my array. So now I want to store 1, 2 as well as 3 and 4. I want to store 4 values in the form of rows and columns. Then we will go for multi-dimensional array. So how to create this multi-dimensional array? So see here, to create multi-dimensional array, integer array of right. So these double brackets are going to represent it is multi-dimensional array. So when we are creating multi-dimensional array, we need to specify rows size and we need to specify columns size. That means how many rows you want to take and how many columns you want to take in the array, that we need to declare at the time of array declaration. So single dimensional array means directly the data will be stored in one row. If you want to represent your data as multiple rows and columns, then we need to go for multi-dimensional array. Rows will be available as well as columns also will be available. Now let us try to write one program. On this multi-dimensional array. Okay, I'm going to take one class name multi-dimension array. Multi-dimension array, I'm taking it as a class name. So here we are writing main method. What is the purpose of a main method? Public static void main. I'm taking a main method. It is used to run our program. So we are compiling the program and we are running the program. When we run the program, execution will start from main method only. Main method is called as entry point for JVM execution. Alright. Now inside this I can create one array, integer array. I'm going to create multi-dimensional array. So here row size we are going to specify and column size also we are going to specify. So 2 rows and 2 columns, that is 2 by 2 array, 2 by 2 matrix I am going to create. Now when I create a array with 2 by 2, what is the meaning of that? Array means a container. I'm creating a container like this. Now row index will start from 0. As well as column index also will start from 0. 0, 1 and here 0, 1. Are you guys clear with my point? 0, row index will be there as well as column index also will be available. Now 0 will be available as an index and it is going to start from the 0. The index is going to start from 0. Now it is going to start from 1. 0 and 1 will be available as a index. How to access? Now suppose I'm storing some data 100. Okay. Here I am going to store the data as 200. Here I am storing the data as a 300. And I want to store the data 400 here. How can I identify the index of this first row, first column? 0, 0. So this will be identified as a 0, and 0. Right. How this will be identified? 0 and 1. That means this is a row 0. Row 0 and this is row 1. Row 0 and row 1. So that means the index is going to represent here as a 0 and here it is going to represent as 1. Column index will start from 0 and column index 0 and 1 is available. So this box where the 100 is available, we will identify that as 0, 0. This 200 box will be identified by 0, 1. 300 box will be identified by 1, 0. 400 box will be identified by 1, 1. So it is a multi-dimensional array which is used to store the data in the form of rows and columns. Rows and columns. But in the real time, we don't use these multi-dimensional arrays. In my project, I have not used this multi-dimensional array in any scenario. In the project, if you want to represent collection of items, there is a concept called collections. That is most important. Just for understanding purpose, I'm going to show you only one example because this is not that much important for our project's development. Alright, multi-dimensional array. It is used to represent the data in the form of rows and columns. Now, I want to store the data. Array of 0 and array of 0 is equal to 100. Array of 0 is equal to 100. So what is the meaning of 0 is equal to 100? So this is my box. This is my box. Number of columns, number of rows. So this I can say it as, this is row 1, row 0 and this is row 1. This one I will call it as column 0 and this is column 1. Row 0, row 1, column 0, column 1. So this will be represented as 0, 0. This will be represented as 0, 1. It will be represented as 1, 0. Row 1, column 0. This is row 1, column also 1. Now, if I want to store the data in the first box, then I am going to use array of 0 and 0. That means in the first box we are storing the data. I am storing 100 here. I am storing 100 here. Suppose I want to store the data 0th row, first column. 0th row, first column. How can we do that? Array of 0 and array of 1. I am storing 200. I am storing 200. Now, two rows available, 2 columns available. This is first row, 2 columns completed. First row, 2 columns completed. Now in the second row, first column, I want to store the data. Array of 1 and array of 0. So I am going to store 300. That means 200 will be stored here and our 300 will be stored here. Now I want to store the data row 1, column 1. Row 1, column 1. How can we do that? Row 1 and column 1. Array of 1, 1. Array of 1, 1 we are going to use to store the data. 1, 1 I am using to store the data. That's it. So this is a program which is used to create multi-dimensional array. In the multi-dimensional array, 2 sizes are available. First size represents rows count. Second size represents columns count. So row is starting from 0. Column is also starting from 0. So row 0, column 0. That means this box will be considered. Row 0, column 1. That means second box will be considered. Row 1, column 0. This box will be considered. row 1, column 1, that means this box will be considered. In order to store the data or in order to retrieve the data, you need to supply row index and column index also. To store the data, here I am using row index and I am using column index also. Can we print this array now? Can we print this array now? Yes. What is the simplest method to print the array? Can I go for arrays dot toString of our array? Yes. Arrays is my class. Arrays is a predefined class. Arrays is a predefined class. So how can we print this by using arrays? We need to import arrays class. How to do the import? java.util.star. Let me save it. Take the class name. Guys, I have seen some people are saving the file name with different. Class name and file name are different. Don't do that. Your class name and file name should be same. So use the class name and file name as same. Now go to our workspace, multi-dimensional array.java. I'm saving that. Let's go to CMD. Let's go for CMD. Then try to execute it. Java C space multi-dimensional array.java. Compiled successfully. Java space multi-dimensional array. I have given the wrong class name. Right. Am I able to get the data? Am I able to get the data? When I am doing arrays.toString, is it printing the data? No. Why? Because is it a single dimensional array or it is a multi-dimensional array? It is a multi-dimensional array. It is a multi-dimensional array. So this is not going to work out. This is not going to work out. Can we check the length of the array? Can we check the length of the array? How to check the length of the array? Array.length. Array.length. Here, sorry, let's try. Java C multi-dimensional array.java. Java space multi-dimensional array. What is the length it is giving? 2. That means it is giving rows length or columns length? Rows length or columns length? Rows length. Now, can I change the column length and try that? Rows length I am giving as 2. Columns length I am giving as 3. Now I am trying to get the length of the array. Compile it once again. My program is changed. Run this. Now, giving 2 only. That means it is considering which length now? It is considering the rows length only. So whenever you use multi-dimensional array, it is giving rows length only. Guys, if I don't give this, can I create an array without giving the columns length? Can I create an array only by using rows length without columns length? Possible or not possible? Check karo. Check karo. Java C multi-dimensional array.java. Am I able to compile? Yes, I'm compiling. I'm able to compile. But at the time of execution, null pointer exception we are getting. But can I create an array only with row size? Yes, possible. We can do that. We can here, whenever we are creating an array, this first size is mandatory, second size is optional. First size is mandatory, second size is optional. Now, I'm giving row size as 2, column size also as 2. When I access the length, it is giving me only rows length, but not the columns length. Alright. Now, can I access the data which is available in row 1, column 0? Can I access the data which is available in row 1, column 0? Yes. How can I access the data which is available in... What is the disturbance? Tell them to keep quiet. Alright. So now I want to access the data which is available in row 0, row 1 and column 0. How can I get that? System.out.println of array of row 1 and column 0. So if I write like this, what is the output? What is the output? 300. Row 1, column 0 data I'm trying to access. Java C, multi-dimensional array.java, Java space, multi-dimensional array, we are getting 300. Okay, this is fine. I'm able to get the data of the particular row and column. Now, I want to get all the elements of the array. I want to get all the elements of the array. Can I do that? How? For loop, can I try with for loop? Yes, okay. For integer I is equal to 0, I less than arr dot length comma I plus plus. Okay. I'm writing one for loop. I'm writing one for loop to access the data of my array. Remember, array is not single dimensional, array is multi-dimensional array. So now here, can I directly access my array data by using array of I like this? If I access array of I, what will happen? Can we try? Can we print it now? Can we print it now? System dot out dot println of array of I. Now, can you tell me what is the output? Come on, what is the output? Java space multi-dimension array. It's not garbage. That is object representation in the Java. It is not a garbage. It is a object representation in the Java. This is two-string format of the object. That is a two-string format of the object. It is not garbage. It is representing one array object. That means whenever you access array of I, that means array of 0. Array of 0 means it is representing your first row. It is representing your first row. First row is one array. Second row is one array. So there are two arrays are available. In the first row, one array is available. In the second row also, one array is available. So that's why whenever you write a loop with one loop, array of I, that means you are passing just row index. You are passing just row index. You are not passing column index. Now, if I pass like this, then what will happen? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. Am I going to get all the elements of the array? No. What elements I am going to get now? 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. That means in the first row, first column, in the last row, last column. So when this loop is executed, I'm going to get, my loop is going to start from 0. My loop is starting from 0. Array of I, that means array of 0 and 0. What is the meaning of array of 0 and 0? Row 0, column 0. So it is going to give me the output as 100. It will give me the output as 100. After that, I value will be incremented. I value will become 1. When I value becomes 1, then what will happen? Array of 1 and 1. What it is giving me? It is going to give 400. That means first row, first column, second row, last column only I'm going to get if I write like this. Are you guys able to understand? Right. If I don't write this second I, what will happen? It will print first row, it will print second row. When it is printing the first row and second row, is that data available in the readable format? That data not available in the readable format? That data not available in the readable format. Sir, what is that format? That is object representation in the Java. Your object will be represented like that. That is the toString format of our object. So once we get into java.object class, java.lang.object class, I will tell you what is a toString method, what is a hash code method, what is equals method. There are so many predefined methods are available. It is printing complete row. Row is one object. Row is one object. Now, in order to access the data from multi-dimensional array, what I need to write now? My loop should execute like this. Array of 0 and 0. And next it should execute array of 0 and array of 1. Next it should execute array of 1, array of 0. Next it should execute array of 1, array of 1. So if your loop execute like this, then you can get all the elements of the array. By using single loop, can I achieve that? By using single loop, can I achieve that? No. Then what should I need to do? What I need to do now? I need to go for nested loop. I need to go for nested loop. Can you tell me now? For integer j is equal to 0, j is equal to 0, j less than array dot length, then j plus plus, j plus plus. Okay. Now, can I write like this? System dot out dot println of array of I and j. Array of I and j. I value is 0, j value is also 0. So now, first outer loop will execute. Outer loop will execute. I value is 0. Then we will come into inner loop. In the inner loop, j value is also 0. Array of 0, 0. Array of 0, 0 means 100 will come. Array of 0, 0 means 100 will come. Once one loop iteration is completed, j value will be incremented. J value will become from 0 to 1. I value is still 0. Then second iteration, array of 0 and 1. Array of 0, 0 and 1. When it is 0 and 1, it is going to give me 200. Are you able to understand? So, you cannot retrieve all the elements of multi-dimensional array with one loop. Definitely you need to go for nested loop only. Definitely you need to go for nested loop only. Perfect. Save this program. Java C, that class name, then Java space class. Am I able to get all the elements of the multi-dimensional array? Yes. We are able to access all the elements of multi-dimensional array by using nested for loop. Can I do the same thing by using for each loop also? Can I do that by using for each loop also? Can I do it or not? Can I try that? Yes or no? Let me try. How to get the data from multi-dimensional array by using for each loop. Okay. Let me create one class. New class, some demo. I'm creating a class with a name called demo. Alright. I'm taking a main method. Here array is already available. Let me take this array. Yes. Array is created and data is also stored in the array. So how to write a for each loop? For which array we want to iterate? ARR. I want to get each element in the array. Each element in the array is a sub-array. Each element in the array itself is a sub-array. So now, here I am going to get one array. Here I am going to get one array. Are you guys getting my point? Next, go inside this loop. Go inside this loop. Now what I need to do for integer x of a. Integer x of a, system.out.println of x. So this is used to iterate the elements available in multi-dimensional array. So what is the meaning of that? Sir, your array is available. Your array is a multi-dimensional array. If you are getting confused, let me do like this. Integer ABC is equal to, I'm storing some data. I'm storing some data. Okay. Can I say that it is one array? Can I say that it is one array? Yes or no? Yes. How can I iterate this array? For ABC is my array. ABC is my array. When I get the first element from the ABC, what element I am going to get? Int element. Can I store that element into one variable? Can I store that element into one variable? Integer k colon ABC. System.out.println of k. Forget about this. Forget about this. I have one array. In my array, data is available. Is it single dimensional array or it is a multi-dimensional array? It is a single dimensional. That means this is one container. I want to get each element of the container. I want to get the each element available in the container. I am trying to loop the container. I am trying to loop the container. You can loop it by using for loop, or you can loop it by using for each loop also. You can loop it by using for loop, or you can loop it by using for each loop. When you go for loop, it is range based and we need to use the indexes also. But here, for each loop is a advanced loop which introduced in Java 1.5 version. From the initial version of the Java, people used it to work with the for loop only. In the Java 1.5 version, this for each loop came into market. It is also used to iterate the arrays and collections. Now, this is my for each loop. That means for each element in the array, store that into variable, then loop will be executed. Take the first element from the array, store into k variable, then print the k variable. Then take the second element from the array, store into k variable, then print the k variable. Then take the third element from the array, store into k variable, then print the k variable. So it is going to execute the loop for each element in the array, for each loop. What is the name of the loop? For each. That means for each element, the loop is going to execute. Let's run this program. Am I able to get all the three elements? Yes, that's fine. So let me comment it. Let me comment it. Now can I create a multi-dimensional array? Yes, I have created one multi-dimensional array. In that the data is also available. Now, multi-dimensional array means one array contain the sub-array. One array contain the sub-array. Now, I want to iterate it. I want to iterate it. For what is the name of the array? ARR. The name of the array is ARR. When I access this array, it is going to give me complete array. When I access ARR, for each iteration, it will give me one row. It will give me one row. Row, can I call it as another array? It is a multi-dimensional array. When the multi-dimensional array, when I am calling array of 0, what I am getting? When I access array of 0, what I am getting? One row I am getting. One row means that is another array. So, for each element, we are getting one more array. For each element, we are getting one more array. So, this is first row array. This is first row array. Can I get the data from this array now? directly, can I do like this? System.out.println arrays dot toString of AR. Yes or no? Arrays dot toString of AR. What will happen? It will take the first row. That first row will be printed. Run this. Am I able to print it? First row is printed, second row is printed. Can I directly keep ARR here? If I keep ARR, what will happen? Faces are becoming blank. Array yaar. If I directly write this, what is happening? What is happening? It is printing the array. It is printing the array. It is first row array. It is second row array. It is printing two arrays. First row array printing, second row is printing. One array, now simple man. I have created multi-dimensional array. What is the meaning of a multi-dimensional array? Rows and columns are available. Now this is one row. This is one row. Can I call this as one array? Can I call this as one row is one array? First row is one array. Second row is also one array. So when I access arrays.toString of array, it is printing my rows. This is my row array. First row and second row. This is not the right approach. Then what I am doing? First, I will get one array. First, I am going to get one array from this array. Then I will do system.out.println of arrays.toString of AR. Now, it is going to print first row data and second row data. Instead of that, can we do like this also? Can we do like this also? Array of I and array of j. For every outer loop iteration, inner loop is also going to execute. Like this, you can access the data from the multi-dimensional array. I will give you these two programs. Whichever you feel easy, that one you can use it. Perfect. Printing the data from multi-dimensional array. I am printing data from multi-dimensional array by using nested loop as well as by using for each loop also. Perfect. No need to spend much time on multi-dimensional arrays because we are not going to work with them in the projects. Perfect. So with this, we are done with arrays concept. With this, we are done with arrays concept. Can we summarize what we discussed in the arrays? I think we spent enough time to understand what is array, how to work with array, and how to implement some logical programs also by using arrays. Yes. What is array? Array is a container which is used to store collection of elements with the same data type. Alright. So this is the syntax to create the array. This brace you can keep before the data type, after the data type, before the variable, after the variable, anywhere you can keep it. That's not mandatory. The thing is size. Whenever we are creating the array, size of the array is mandatory. Size of the array is mandatory. And once your array is created, can you change the size of the array? No. Array's size is always fixed and arrays are used to store only homogeneous data. That's it. When you want to store multiple variables, multiple values in the single variable, then you can go for arrays. If you want to store one value into a variable, if you want to store only one value to a variable, do you need to go for arrays? Then we can go for primitive data types. Already we have seen int double, long, float, char, boolean, byte, short. There are some data types available. When you want to store only one value to a variable, primitive data types are sufficient. If you want to store more than one value to one variable, then we need to go for arrays. Arrays are used to store same type of value and with a fixed size. Array is going to store the data based on the indexes. Array index always will start from 0. It's 0. Last index will be size minus 1. How can we find the length of the array, size of the array? Array dot length available. Decimal value cannot be used for the size. Negative value also cannot be used for the size. Perfect. And we have implemented several programs on the arrays. How to find min element and max element. How to reverse the array and how to sort the array and how to print array element printing. We are able to print the array data by using for loop, by using for each loop, and by using arrays dot toString. Arrays sorting also we have done, ascending order and descending order sorting also we have done. And we are able to find the element pairs which are equal to given value. Element pairs sum is equal to given value. And we are able to find non-repeated elements also available in the array. Now today we understood what is multi-dimensional array. The array which is storing the data in the form of rows and columns is called as multi-dimensional array. When you want to access multi-dimensional arrays, you can go for nested for loop or you can go for each loop like this. So we'll talk about for each loop in the coming classes. Just a syntax I have given. So if you don't want to use it, you leave it. In the collections, we are going to understand what is that for each loop. Right. Good. With this, we completed our discussion related to arrays concept. Fine, guys. One person is asking a question. How can you assign values in the single line with a multi-dimensional array? Good question. So here, when we are using single dimensional array, can I directly store the data into array without using these indexes? How can we store the data directly in the array? Am I able to store like this? Yes, with a single line, I'm able to store the data. If it is a multi-dimensional array, how can I store the data? How can we store the data? Simple. See here. Okay. It is representing one container. Inside that, we are going to represent like this. Now, here we are going to store 100, 200. Here I am going to store 300, 400. 300, 400. Run this program. Am I able to get it? Yes. So this is first row and this is my second row. If you want to store the data directly in the single line, for multi-dimensional array, you can store like this. Yes. Storing the data into multi-dimensional array with a single line. So first one, it is representing first row, it is representing second row. This is first column, second column. First column and second column. Directly, you can store the data into multi-dimensional array also using single line. Perfect. Good. How can we use? For each loop. Yes. Like this. We are getting all the elements. So when I iterate this array, I'm getting first row. First row is an array. That first row again I'm iterating. Again I'm iterating. So fine. Like this also you can do. Either you can do like this or you can do like this also to iterate it. Perfect. For each loop, guys, if you don't understand for each loop, leave it. We are going to understand that with the collections. For each, the name itself, it is going to execute the loop for each element. There is nothing to explain. It will execute for each element available in the container. Fine. So in our third chapter, part 1 is completed. That is arrays. So with this, we are good with data types, variables, operators, control statements, and arrays. If you go for any programming language, these topics are common. If you go for Python, or if you go for .NET, if you go for PHP or JavaScript, any programming, C, C++, any programming language, these topics are common. Data types, variables, operators, control statements, and arrays. All right. Now, let's go for our next topic in the chapter 3 only. That is strings. That is strings. Very, 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 very important. Here also, logical thinking is required. Logical thinking is required when we are going for strings. Very, 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 very important. Here also, logical thinking is required. Logical thinking is required when we are going